Welcome to the Epic Edge podcast. I'm your host, Angie Davis. I'm joined by my co-host,
Hayden Edmondson.
And today we have a very special guest. We are in the presence of greatness. I am joined by Sam Rodriguez out from the Las Vegas area. Sam is with Epic Realty and is on the board of directors for Epic Realty. Has a really good name in the business, has a long track record of success in the business. So Sam, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, before we get started, like, follow, subscribe where you best get your podcast, and leave a comment below. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below what you'd like to see as far as material, or if you have questions for either myself or Hayden or for Sam, our guest, and we'll make sure to get those answered. Sam, I'm going to let you kind of start with telling us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in the industry, kind of where your journey's taken you up until now.
Yeah. I'll do the Cliff Note version here. So this is started my 25th year in the business. I fell into real estate like many of us do. I just happened to do it early on. I actually shared with people that the recruiting call wasn't for me. It was from my wife at the time. And she said no. She said, ask Sam. And I said, sure, I don't know anything about real estate. I'll try that. So I got started, it was late 99. Got my start with Remax. I wasn't even licensed at the time. Really started from the bottom up. Worked in all kinds of different departments. And why I love that is I got to learn the business inside and out. Learn what I loved and what I didn't love. And what I gravitated to was the leadership side of things. I loved working with agents. And so the attraction side or recruiting is really where I kind of got my start later when I joined a luxury boutique in Southern California. Again, didn't know what I was doing. Just again, the position was offered. I said, I'll try that again. And I started to find out, I guess I was pretty good at it. I'm a high I personality, so I love people. And like I said, loved working with real estate agents. So that journey kind of took me, from there to director of recruiting with Coldwell Banker on the residential brokerage side. Keller Williams team leader, excuse me. Had an office of about 300 agents. I was a team leader for about 4 years. Getting a lot of this experience in Southern California before opening up another luxury boutique and growing that to a top 5 company in the first 18 months in that market. When I finally opened up my own brokerage with a business partner, we grew that to a couple hundred agents and about a handful of offices in Southern California. And at the time, then eXp Realty came knocking, and I ended up joining them and in a corporate role, became the VP of US and then international growth, helping eXp grow from 2,600 agents to over 53,000 in just under 5 years. And then found my way to Epic, and when I saw Epic, it was really a no-brainer. But I'm sure we'll get into that part here. So I've been on board now for a little over 18 months here with Epic. On the board of directors, and it's been the ride of my life. So out of those 25 years, this is what that entire journey has all led up to where we're at here today.
That has all prepared you for this, and you've got, a pretty well paved road there as far as just growth. You know how to grow, and you've got a track record of doing it, and clearly a passion for doing it. I love that.
Absolutely.
You have to have a passion for anything you do in this business. If you're not passionate about it, the ebb and flows of real estate will take you out. So
passion and belief. It's funny, one of my brokers, I remember him saying I was leaving Coldwell Banker at that time, and that branch manager was trying to get me to go one another direction that he was going to be going to eventually. And I remember he's like, you're not going to go over to this company. You're not going to go to that company. He said, I know you're not. He says, because you don't believe in those models. And he was right. And I think, again, that the belief and that passion together is what I think the both of them combined are important.
I love that. So if I were on an elevator with you, now Sam, our paths crossed a few years ago while we were at eXp in Southern California, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
But if I were meeting you for the first time and I was on the elevator with you and we were going from the 30th floor to the ground floor, and I said, tell me why Epic Realty, how would you answer that?
Yeah, I think it's why I chose Epic Realty, which is it's the benefits. I think it's not like everybody else. I felt like all the other brokerages were in a race to the bottom, right? We're the cheapest, we're inexpensive, there's no monthly fee. It was all about cost. And I've long believed that agents shouldn't be choosing a real estate brokerage on how much they're going to save. They should be choosing a brokerage on what, the value that they're going to get out of that. And there was nobody like Epic. The long list of benefits, even a year and a half ago, that I felt like the Epic was built for the everyday agent. Yes, we do revenue share. Yes, we have equity share. But agents, the everyday agent doesn't care about those things. They actually are here to sell real estate, or they had a license to sell real estate, not to recruit. And so, for that part alone, I felt like it was, the true agent centric approach that Epic takes, providing the support, from whether it's their transactional support to lifestyle support. I mean, there's just a lot to it that there's just nothing else out there like it.
And not to mention, even the crazy amount of benefits they offer, So, I mean, that's a huge attractant from a company standpoint, when you can cut your costs from a number of ways. It's truly incredible. The founders have done a wonderful job. They really have.
Epic it's well positioned, honestly, and it's experiencing a lot of growth, but that really wasn't their goal, and isn't really their goal. That's not their main goal.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? As sitting on the board of directors, like kind of what's its goal, and just kind of talk to what's happening with Epic.
Yeah. I think, they understand that growth is important. It's a part of, you have to grow, right? If you're not growing, you're going backwards, because attrition is going to happen, right? People pass away, they leave the business, they move away, they're going to get into another part of the business. So it's not that they're anti-growth. They're actually more about retention. So, and I love that there was a retention board essentially created, our founding members board, when we only had about 150 agents at the time. And so the focus was attract quality, productive, happy agents. But our job is to keep them productive and happy, right? So that's how you retain. And so, I always tell people too, I'm a growth and expansion guy. It doesn't mean that the company, again, isn't focused there. As we plan to go public, you have to hit certain metrics, right? And growth is a part of it. Growth also solves all issues. We've heard that before too. As we continue to grow, and we're not, we're not even in all 50 states yet. We'll continue to our national expansion and start some global expansion here as well. So, growth allows us to be able to do more things, with all that long list of the benefits that we already provide. The larger we grow, the less expensive these benefits become, which opens up a runway to provide even more benefits.
So you brought it up already, and Angie, I'm gonna jump this one.
No, go for it.
You brought up going public already. So, what's your projections? I mean, I know that you get in touch with the owners. You know them all personally. They're great people. They consider you to be a close business friend and family friend, I think. With that being said, what's your thought process on when we're projected to go public? And can you throw a dart on the wall projection of what you project us to go public at?
Yeah. That one's a tough one. I guess
that's a loaded question.
That one is a loaded. that last part of it is the loaded part. When I think we've had our sights set on 2026. At what point, right? Beginning or middle, end, we don't know. As 2026 approaches, we'll have a better idea. Because what we don't plan to do is we don't want to go public for the sake of saying, hey, we're a public company. That's what we don't want to do. We've seen other companies do it, and that's not the goal. The goal is to do it with, again, hitting those right projections, because we do have a target in mind. So the company has as a target, again, part of that becomes, again, hitting those metrics that we need to hit as a brokerage. The other part that plays into that is, once 2026 happens, where's the real estate market at, right? Where's the stock market at? So there's a lot of factors that play into that. As we're preparing, we've been preparing here over the past year and a half now to go public. There's also other possibilities of how we go public. So, nothing is off the table. But again, 2026 definitely is the target. Ideally, I'd say, again, as far as a projection, we're, in a perfect world, I'd say, a great target would be to be around the $10 mark. We've seen some of these companies that have come on at 20 plus. We've also seen them nosedive from that $20 mark down to, less than a Starbucks. And so again, those are the things that we're, cautious of, that, we don't need to come on, hitting those big numbers. I feel like the $10 mark is a strong point to come on. The other thing that we don't want to do is that opposite is, again, coming on and at $1 a share. That also doesn't make sense. Anything as you fall underneath $1, you're at risk of being removed from the NASDAQ as well. So those are some of the things that we take into consideration as we prepare.
And then another thing that's it's extremely controversial, so I tiptoe on how this is said, political influence on real estate, right? Like we're a real estate company, but we're very tech driven. So like there's many ways that we can go public. We have a lot of great assets and influences that we can, always kind of lean on. But even leaning on from like a political standpoint, like, you hope that it goes one way or another, or you hope that, from a political standpoint, that we have a great economy to help influence that as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, you hit it earlier too, is, the technology side. We're a real estate brokerage, but, with our CEO, his tech marketing background, others that we brought into the company now with their tech and tech background, and the other technologies that we are in discussion with, right? So there might be some other, I don't want to say bolt-ons, where there's a possibility of maybe other companies merging into that parent company that the parent company that goes public. So there's a lot of really cool things that we're open to. We're considering right now as we continue to prepare.
Yep. I love the possibilities. I love in just listening to Josh, one of our founders, talk about how tech focused we are. Like every real estate brokerage, and the last person in the world to throw shade on another brokerage, but every brokerage talks their tech stack. And I think even Josh said this verbatim. Everybody talks about tech, but like not everybody does tech real well. So one thing that I love about us is that we are like the systems that we have in place, like already, just it being a one-stop shop on our dashboard, like it's already kind of seamless. I mean, do we have, as we're implementing something new or adding to it, do we have, the bumps that we go to before momentum? Yes. But like it's there. You can tell that the foundation is there, whereas I've not seen that in other brokerages.
Yeah. And again, I think people have to remember this is still a young company, right? So some of the other companies that we've been at, 3 years in, they didn't have some of the things that we already have. Like right. You said, is it everything that maybe at a company that we left that they had at that time? Maybe not. But again, when you look at in the comparison of 2-3 years in existence, they didn't have what we already have. So I feel like we're light years ahead. I feel like a lot of companies too, as they come to market, right? It's the companies that have built these platforms, it's what others are now learning from and kind of taking from there and making, enhancing those for the most part, but not all of them are. Some of them aren't offering anything, right? This is the part Josh talks about is, offering a CRM that you don't own, offering a transaction management platform that you don't own. That's not a technology company. Those are just bolt-ons that anybody can add. So it's about all the other cool pieces that innovation. I think that's the part.
Right.
In fact, I was on a call last night. I consult with a lot of other national and international investors, and one of the questions they asked me was about what do I see in the next 5-10 years? Where real estate brokerages are going to go, and I do believe it is that innovation. It's not just revenue share, equity share that will drive it. I think that's a part of it, but it's who's going to innovate the most.
Yeah,
for sure. I think you've got. And Hayden and I've talked about this before. There's a lot of agents that are anti-AI, right? They're very, AI is going to put the agent out of business. And when that comes up when an agent's interviewing with me or talking with me, I'm like, well, do you use Siri or Alexa? And they're like, they immediately, you can tell if you're on a Zoom with them, you can tell that you've got them. We laugh about it because it's like, I gotcha. Because you're already using AI. You're just not using it in your business.
Yeah.
And, I wish more agents.
How important it is. Like you have to adapt to the new changes in business. Like, hey, am I saying we're going to have an iRobot moment in 5 years? The answer is probably not, right? But you never know. Like there's some very creative people in this world. But it's one of those things like either you have to adapt to or you're going to be left behind, aka some of the dinosaurs we have in our world.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's I don't know how many people have said the same thing, but yeah, AI is not going to replace the agent, but it is going to replace the agents that aren't utilizing it. And again, um, it makes life easier, right? Again, you're right. It's automation, AI. People don't realize that it's already been around them for the past 10 years. They just didn't know it. Now it's just being purposeful in their real estate business within their business, and brokerages are now starting to implement it, right? So I think we'll start to see a lot of really, Epic already has our own trademarked, Epic AI, which is awesome, but there's more coming, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited to see what this next iteration looks like.
I'm excited to see that as well.
We talked about one of the things that is one of the big keynotes that I was kind of wanting to talk about. What do you think that agents are going to be pursuing more than others? Agents are looking for, like, we've always got the dinosaurs, the ones that have got we call it the race to zero, right? But like Epic offers all these great benefits. What have you seen in your large recruiting campaigns? And, because you've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in your organization. What have you seen being the most common questions of what people are looking for?
Yeah, that's also kind of a tough one because I feel like it's different for a lot of people, right? I mean, it's Hayden, with you and your team, right? A team leader versus a broker owner versus a solo agent, the needs are different. And we attract all three types of agents. I feel like it kind of goes back to, again, it's not about us, right? I think it is about them and meeting them where they're at. And I think that's why it's so important when we talk about attraction versus recruiting, is finding out what are those person's needs, right? And sometimes they don't know what it is. But what's funny is I think it's the hook becomes, some of the little things that we do. And I say little things, car washes as an example.
Oh my
right?
gosh, the car wash thing is the biggest
Yeah.
thing. Like, it's amazing.
It is. It's funny. And somebody sent me a video this morning. I think it was on an Instagram video or something with another company CEO and making a video making fun of the car washes. But I think it's hilarious because, again, that means we're on their radar, right? I mean, if something as small as a car wash is getting other larger national brokerages attention, but it is garnering attention from other agents. And again, should agents be joining us because of the free car wash? No. But again, that's also.
But they also shouldn't be meeting clients with a dirty car either.
True, and I think, again, there is value to that. Hayden, you mentioned earlier, it's you add up all these things, and it's what's the cost savings, right? So some agents do look at it and go, okay, I'm paying $30 a month for the car wash. I do need a clean car with my buyers and sellers. But it's funny because that becomes that hook again. It starts the conversation, and I think that's really the key. Is we are very different from everybody else. Yeah, maybe the car wash is what initially gets their attention, but yeah, agents are joining because of the support. It's the transaction support, the technology, the lifestyle benefits. I mean, right? It's the car washes, the roadside assistance, and now free childcare and elder care and tutoring. I mean, these are things that you would never expect. Not any brokerage, but let alone any type of large company. Most of these don't have that part figured out.
And I think it's probably the key thing out of everything you've just said is it plugs into the managing team leads, the managing brokers for a firm. It doesn't matter what stage you're in. You could be a brand new agent. You can have 10 years in the business, or if you're like Angie, you've been in the business since like 1947. You can plug in and sell real estate and let this, plug into your business as much as you want it to. Now, The key is we can offer hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of benefits that will help you grow your business on all kinds of levels and every side of your business. But if you don't use it, you're just wasting your time, right? So, that's what I keep telling people coming on. I'm like, hey guys, like, make sure you plug in like this. We're being in real estate, especially in any company. It doesn't matter what company you're at. It's so hard. It's so easy to be left on the island, right? So, like, I think the most important thing is we can plug in on all sides of your business when needed. Because I think it's almost 100% impossible to use all these benefits at once.
Yeah.
Well, people get into this business to be entrepreneurial, right? I mean, they choose this business. Probably that's the leading reason they go the real estate route, is so that they don't have a boss and they don't have to go in from 8 to 5. But in a business that has an 85% or greater failure rate, we know that honestly, for most of them, that's the last thing they need, right? They need some kind of accountability. So I think there's always been this And Sam, tell me if you agree or disagree. You've got the perspective of being in the business since 1947, just like me. But, of seeing that, trying to strike that balance with giving the agents the support and accountability they need, but letting them kind of be their own boss, build their brand, be that entrepreneur that they came into the business to be.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I feel like, again, it's, agents, when they need support, that's when they need help, right? Especially the experienced agents, they don't want to be chased down, bugged. They're, I know some of them don't, are not looking for that at all. In fact, some of them have told us like, hey, leave us alone. If we need you, we'll call you. And that's okay too. But I love that we created that forever mentorship program in the area leader position, because it's, after 25 years, there's things that we're going to have a question on. The business also changes, right? The whole industry just went through a change, just a few months ago. So, I remember I got a call from an agent who's very, very experienced, but she was, busy with, life was happening during that time. And she called up and said, hey, this is my first transaction now that, since the NAR changes, and now I need help. I'm taking a listing and I got a buyer, now, I'm not really up to speed. What should I do? And getting her in touch with that area leader. I am a state broker, right? This is a very, very experienced agent who used to run, a very large team, probably $30 million in business for many years. So again, somebody like that still was going to have questions. In fact, I remember at one of the brokerages I was at, my office right next door, the office next door to mine, we had a little sliding window. That was where the attorney, he was in there. And agents would line up outside of his door all day long. And these agents, by the way, this is a luxury boutique. These agents, all of them were very experienced. We couldn't hire them if they weren't doing a minimum of $3 million. Wow. And these were people that are doing 50, 100 million, 150 million in sales that were lining up outside his office with questions. And so I think that's a clear indicator that, again, it doesn't matter how experienced or inexperienced, sometimes you just need that person to bounce something off of.
Yeah.
When you need it, it's the key value piece, right?
Yeah. I think from a company standpoint, when you weigh out, like we are a nationwide company and probably going to be worldwide in the next couple of years. Like there's no doubt in my mind. And I'm sure y'all have plans in place for that already. But this company has done such a good job of still maintaining, even though we are nationwide, of maintaining a mom and pop type feel. Like if you need help, and this is probably one of my biggest recruiting pitches of trying to get people to come on that I want to be a part of and that I want to be in my organization. You're not on the island by yourself. You have people helping you that are set up there just to help you and help you succeed and help you grow your business. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we can always advertise. It's like, hey, when you come on, you're not on an island by yourself. Like you're always going to have so many people around you. And even the people that are not in management positions, we have a great community nationwide.
I'd agree. I mean, we just came back from Orlando, right? And I mean, to see, that was our leadership retreat. But to see the relationships being forged right there, I mean, I was with a group. There was, Arkansas, Texas, California. There was like all these different leaders from different states that maybe knew of each other, maybe not. Indiana, and it was really cool to see all these kind of come together. Now they walked away from this, 2-3 day event like best friends. I mean, how cool is that? And we also purposefully had even set up like these homes, right? It was not, oh, let's put all the Indiana people here and all the Texas people here. By purposefully mixing those folks together, that was the plan, and it did exactly what we intended it to do.
Yeah, it was fantastic. That some of those friendships and alliances that you form along the way like that, they last years and years. I mean, they stand the test of time for sure. We've already seen other models adjust their plans based on what we've come to the market with, which I love. That's another temperature check, if you will, that we're on the right track, that we're, as Josh has said, like we're making the industry better along the way. Epic's not going to be for everybody. I think that all three of us on this podcast will agree with that it's not going to be the right fit for every single person, but it is going to appeal to the masses. And for those, even that if you're not a part of Epic, it's probably going to cause them to raise their standards a little bit along the way with what they provide their agents. We've seen some of that already. What else do you see changing? I mean, I feel like you kind of have a 40-foot view of just the industry.
Yeah, I mean, it is already, would I say it's a win already? Not maybe some of it, right? I think we're heading in the right direction. When I say we, meaning when Epic was created, they didn't mean to just provide all these benefits and where only the Epic agents were the ones, to benefit. Right now, a lot of them are the ones that are benefiting, but the intent was if this would help change the industry as a whole, where, the more traditional companies or all the other brokerages for that matter would start providing more for the agent instead of taking away, right? Unfortunately, we've seen over the past 10, 15 years where it's become all about the commission. Right? It's less about that offering, and agents demand more commissions, and so I've also felt that that's the reason why companies like HomeSmart and Realty One have grown is because the other companies there's the value has decreased, diminished, and so they go and seek the higher commission, which makes sense, but why not be able to offer the best of both worlds, being able to offer a capping model and the long list of benefits. And so you're right. I think, the fact that some companies are already making changes and continue to, I think, there's one company I think that's already made 2, 3 changes just to one of their programs alone, just in this past, less than a year. I think is indicative of what other changes we'll continue to see. So hopefully it does change everything where it's a different approach of, not about the bottom line dollars for the brokerage or the public company, right? The shareholders. Our approach has been take care of the agents. The money will show up later. And as it has, as we prepare to go public, right? You can't go public if you're not making any money or you're losing money. Or I guess I should say you can go public and still lose money, as another brokerage can show. That's not our plan, right? That's never been the plan. The plan
Profit is the name of the game.
100%. Yes.
And it's not a bad word, right?
Yeah. Yep.
What's my saying, Andrew? The math ain't mathin'.
The math ain't math, and the
That's
math
right,
has to
yeah.
math.
That
For
must
sure.
have come from Tennessee, right?
That's a Tennessee original, probably, for sure. Like if you were to, I guess I have the same question, obviously, as the person you were talking with last night. Future pacing it out 5 or 10 years, like what legacy do you see Epic leaving on the industry? Like where do you see us then, and like how do you see things changing for those a part of Epic?
Yeah, I think I feel like the next 5, 10 years is going to be a time of change. I saw the number. I don't remember the exact number, but the saying I've been saying is that there's 1,600,000 of us realtors in the U.S. It's slightly under 1,600,000 now, slightly, which again was also interesting because everybody predicted there was going to be tons of agents leaving the business. There hasn't been. So it was like 1,500,000, 600,000, something like that. So that's still a lot of agents. And why I bring that up is there's only about 110 max of those 1,500,000, 1,600,000 that are actually with a cloud company that are actually a part of a rev share or company, an equity share company. So that means there's about 1,400,000, 1,500,000 other agents that are not with a cloud company, that have not maybe even ever experienced a cloud company or rev share equity. And so I think that creates a huge opportunity. I feel like that's where we're going to see a big shift taking place. There's also the new wave of the generational changes in the industry. People that are getting into the business. It feels like that younger generation is coming in. They're not, they're creating huge teams and a big businesses early on. Which is not what I think we've seen in times past. So right. I do feel like that will be a shift in the industry overall for brokerage space. As for Epic, I think we're not done providing the benefits, right? I know everybody looks at that long list now and they already scratch their head and wonder how we can do it. Well, we were built to do this from the get-go. So I don't even know of the long list of other benefits that they have on their wish list. I know it's a long one. But I mean, just this year alone, I think we provided or introduced more than 20 new benefits. So they're always going to be looking for what else, what next. In fact, before I joined them, I know that they used to end every one of their board meetings with, what else? It was always like kind of, what else can we do that's not being provided to the agents.
I think it's funny that you can go across and you really don't realize how many benefits we have until you sit down and try to name them all off.
Yeah.
You really like you can't think of them.
I can't. I have to keep the website open just because I forget. There's so many of them. Yeah.
And I think
Yeah,
I
for
came on
sure.
at the end of January, some roughly, and I think there was roughly like 16 to 18 benefits at that time frame. And now, I would not be scared to say that we are getting really close to probably close to 40 to 50 benefits.
If you were talking with, if you're like, let's just assume a real estate agent is listening to this and they're contemplating a change. Like, I mean, maybe they're just in this season. I think Q4 is a good time for, every agent's kind of reevaluating, hey, what worked in my business, what didn't. But if you were talking with an agent's listening to this, they're on the fence, they're evaluating their brokerage, considering a possible move, what would you want them to know most about Epic?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the first thing I'd say is even if they're not looking for a change, I feel like it's, I'll use myself as an example is, I was happy wherever I've been. All the brokerages that I've been a part of, I was never unhappy and, started searching for something else. I know some people do, and that's okay. But just being open-minded, right? I think that's where it
Right.
starts. I'm sure there's opportunities that have passed me by because I was happy where I was, right? And that's the number one, response that I get from agents is that I'm happy where I'm at, and that's great as they should be. But if totally fine with somebody being happy where they're at and staying where they're at. But as long as they're also open-minded enough to at least take a look, right? You don't know what you're saying no to. For those that are, again, right where you are in Q4, this is the time you are reevaluating your business. 2025 is just around the corner. We've got the holidays in between that, right? So there's not many business days left.
We're practically there now.
Yeah, I'd say, reevaluating your business and what is that? What does 2025 look like? Is, again, one, do you have a written business plan? And I say written, right? Because there's a lot of agents I say, do you have a business plan? They go, oh, yeah. I say written. They go, no, it's up here. That's not enough. So, who's helping you with that written business plan? Who's holding you accountable? These are some of the questions I think they should be asking themselves. And if there isn't somebody, again, this is also where Epic can step in and assist, right? We've got our area leaders. We've got these powerhouse teams and organizations here within the company, supporting their agents and the whole company here. Kind of take a deep dive at the benefits list. It's the things that we're providing are already things that agents need in their everyday business anyway. So what does that look like by the cost savings that Hayden was talking about? Oh, I'm going to go. What can you do with that extra money? If you're not getting enough leads, one, we have our free leads program. But if you're not having to pay again for healthcare and the $30 car wash, right? All those things that start to add up. What could you do with an extra 25, 27,000 or more a year in savings? Could that go into leads? Could that go into it's another, maybe you need an assistant, right? It's these different things that I think can help an agent go to that next level.
It's leverage for you, leverage for your business.
100%. I mean, it's leverage is the key to this industry.
Right.
And I feel like, again, Epic takes that approach of, again, I hate to say it, but it's, agent centric. And it's, there's companies that have played out that term for decades. And again, put their money where their mouth is, right? It's, don't just say it. Don't just, use it as a term. What are they actually doing for their agents?
Yeah. I've said all year, it's like we're in the time of value. I mean, we're in the season of value where people are looking at, okay, I pay in, 20, 30, 40% some brokerages. The splits at some brokerages just shock me. Yeah. But, it's not so much like the dollar I pay in. What am I getting back for it? I mean, I think that we're in a season of evaluating that. And if we're not, we should be. I mean, because everybody, whether they're a consumer buying or selling real estate, they're looking at their experience from a value position. So, I think it's fair that agents do the same thing that our clients are doing.
Sure. I think it's, are you being rewarded for your influence? Are you being rewarded for loyalty, right? We have our declining cap. I mean, that's a loyalty reward. It's like, I go to Starbucks and I get a free coffee every so often, right? Well, I know that it wasn't free. But it's because I continue to go there and I, spend so much that they're going to give me the free stuff. And it's the same thing here. It's, being rewarded just because you stick around. So
$1,000 off your cap every year for the first 5 years. That's so much better than a Starbucks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Being rewarded for your influence, right? I mean, I know people who have been at, the big blue company for 30 years, and they've helped that company grow by hundreds of agents, and all they got was a Starbucks card or free lunch, and the pat in the back and the thank you. That's not enough. These are the companies are the ones that are benefiting from it, and so
Right.
sharing the wealth. Are you receiving your cut of that? In a fair share. Are there other opportunities, especially today? Right, it's revenue sharing and equity sharing. I know that these aren't new anymore, but there's a lot of these companies don't share in that. So are you being rewarded for that as you should?
Yeah, that's such a good point. Okay, well, we've kept you past the time that I promised, so I never want to be that girl. Hayden, any final questions before we cut Sam loose?
No, ma'am. Sam, I appreciate you jumping on with us, my friend. Always a pleasure, and looking forward to seeing you here. I think our next event's in Nashville. Is that correct?
Yeah, looking forward to it. First time there. Yeah.
Come on down to Tennessee. We're ready for you.
If I don't see you on Broadway, the trip was not worth it.
And hey, by then, will you be a papa? I know that's coming up in the horizon. Will you be a papa?
Any day now, yeah.
Yay. All right, we'll look forward to pictures. Congratulations on that. And yeah, thanks for spending the time with us. We appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks.
Bye.